a nationwide probe into the so-called ghost babies who were never registered with the government. What happened to these undocumented children, and where are they now?
Hi everyone, it's Debbie from Korea Now. From 2015 to last year, some 2.6 million babies were born in South Korea. But for some reason, some 2,000 of them were never registered with the government, despite records at hospitals confirming their birth. For the past few weeks, police have been trying to track down these ghost babies with the help of local governments. But what they found instead were horrific cases of parents who had killed their own children. As of Friday afternoon, a total of 939 ghost baby cases were under police investigation, and 34 of them have been confirmed dead so far. During their investigation, police found that some parents had abused and killed their children. Last week, a mother in Gwangju was arrested for neglecting her 6-day-old infant to death in 2018 and then discarding the body in a trash bag. The mother turned herself in to the police after receiving a call from the Gwangju district office regarding the whereabouts of her baby. The single mother says she was unemployed and psychologically overwhelmed at the time she had the baby and failed to file the birth report. And since the mother had thrown her baby in the trash, the baby's body cannot be found at this point. Meanwhile, a woman in her 20s was also arrested on charges of murdering her newborn son in 2019. Earlier, the mother was under suspicion of neglecting her son for days and letting him starve to death, but she later confessed to killing her baby boy near a stream and then dumping his body. The police have been trying to locate the baby's body, but no progress has been made so far as the mother keeps changing her story, telling different locations of where she put the body. Unfortunately, more heartbreaking cases are expected to come out as police continue their investigation into these unregistered children. Although a bill for mandatory birth notification has passed the National Assembly, experts are calling for stronger punishment against infanticide, which only carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in jail, as opposed to life in prison for murder. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Debbie Won. Please make sure to subscribe to Korea Now for more updates. The gruesome discovery of 2 infants who were apparently murdered by their mother and stored in a refrigerator has shocked the entire nation, prompting South Korean authorities to launch a nationwide campaign to check the well-being of some 2,000 undocumented babies born since 2015. And this week, the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency said it launched an investigation into 24 unregistered newborns left inside the baby box, a place where parents can surrender their babies anonymously. The baby box is installed in the outer wall of a local church that operates 24 hours, 7 days a week, with staff and volunteers who are ready to respond on site. They even provide counseling to help parents reassess their situations and provide financial aid if necessary. Now, the majority of those who drop off their babies are single mothers facing the social stigmas of having a child out of wedlock, underage, or through rape. Since 2009, the baby box has served as a safe last resort option for parents who are not mentally or financially able to raise a child. Pastor Lee Jong-rak, who founded the baby box, said most of the parents who surrendered their babies were in desperate situations with nowhere to go and nobody to turn to. And recently, with the investigation into the so-called ghost babies in full swing, police have found that many parents had left their unregistered children inside the baby box. And some of these parents were booked on suspicion of child abandonment. But no punishment was made so far, as it's hard to say whether the decision was made out of desperation or irresponsibility. Despite its good intentions, the baby box has raised a lot of controversy, with critics arguing that it encourages people to take the easy way out of their parental duties. And even under desperate circumstances, they say leaving a child in the baby box is still abandonment. The recent investigation is also sparking fear among parents who thought they could remain anonymous after using the baby box. Meanwhile, authorities will continue their probe into unregistered babies. What are your thoughts about the baby box? Do you see it as a life-saving measure for unwanted babies or an easy way out for unfit parents? Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Debbie Won. Please make sure to subscribe to Korea Now for more updates.
The movie Broker, released on June 8th, is earning fame after Song Kang-ho won the Best Actor awards in the Cannes Film Festival. Along with the movie, Baby Box, which played a pivotal role, is sparking interest among people. The film Broker is a story about a group of people joining a special journey to find a new family for a baby found in a baby box. Then, what is this baby box?
저는 주사랑 공동체 교회 담임 목사 이종락입니다. 또 이제 베이비박스 아이들 보호하는 일도 하고 있죠. 우리 아이가 둘째 아이가 전신마비였었어요. 한 14년 동안 병원 생활했어요. 아직 병원비가 많으니까 부모님이 아이만 놔두고 이제 없어지는 아이들이 있었어요. 그 아이들이 공동체에 맡겨졌어요. 그렇게 하면서 6명의 아이들이 이제 같이 이제 살게 됐죠. 주사랑 공동체에 가면 아이들이 있는데 너무 행복해 보인다. 이게 소문이 난 것 같아요. 담벼락 밑에 공중전화 박스 밑에 이렇게 해가지고 장애인 공동체가 이게 자꾸 커지는 거예요. 아, 자칫 잘못하면 우리 대문 앞에 어린아이들 사체가 발견되었구나 하는 이런 두려움을 갖게 되었고 2007년에 대문 앞에 세복에 갔다 온 생선 박스에 담긴 아이를 보호하면서 베이비박스가 만들어졌어요. 계단에 올라가자 소리가 안 나게 돼 있어요. 그러면 엄마가 왔구나. 이제 그 확인 그 벨이 울리죠. 그러면 이 문을 열면 또 이제 소리가 나요. 밖에서 아이를 열면 안에서 5초 안에 아이를 안전하게 보호가 됩니다. 한 직원은 안으로, 한 직원은 밖으로 나가요. 왜? 엄마를 만나서 위로하기 위해서 98% 만납니다. 이제 엄마의 편지도 쓰고 엄마의 마음도 이렇게 전화 받고 그래서 언제든지 찾아갈 수 있는 기회를 이제 주는 거고 또 위로할 기회를 주는 거고.
Kids temporarily protected by baby box are adopted or sent to an orphanage, and some are taken back to the parents after some counseling.
그 부모를 만나면 일단 칭찬해요. 이 아이만큼은 살려야 되겠다고 엄마가 여기까지 온 거예요. 그럼 칭찬해줘. 그리고 들어줘요. 이 아픈 마음. 자기 엄마 아빠한테 이야기를 못해. 가까운 친구한테도 못해. 여기는 네가 아무리 이야기를 해도 누가 뭐라고 하는 사람이다. 해라, 이야기해라. 그래서 이제 이 엄마들이 나중에 상담을 통해서 엄마가 키울 수 있도록 지원을 약속을 하는 거예요. 아이들 원효, 본효, 기저귀, 옷이라든지 아이들 유모차라든지 뭐 필요한 것은 어쨌든 다. 그러면 데리고 와서 키우는 엄마들이 여기서 16%가 지금 17%가 됐어요. 엄마는 끝까지 엄마예요. 엄마는 엄마로서의 끝까지 엄마가 돼줘라. 이런 말을 하지요.
Perhaps the existence of baby box was spread through word of mouth. Starting from 4 in 2010, the number of babies protected by baby box rose, each having its own story.
제일 충격적인 거는 요 이제 뒷산이에요. 산에서 출산했어. 이 엄마가 아이의 울음소리를 듣고 난 뒤에는 도저히 파묻을 수가 없어서 자기 옷 벗어가지고 흙 묻은 아이 그대로 데려왔어요. 생각나는 마다 다 하면 이건 뭐 며칠 해야 돼. 2,000명이 됐으니까.
Baby box provides multifaceted aids, and the minister couldn't solely manage everything by himself. Baby box could have been maintained thanks to the sponsors and volunteers. We met a volunteer who has been providing a childcare service for 6 years.
사실 우리가 웃는 일이 많이 없잖아요. 정말 별것도 아닌 아이가 웃는 거에 제가 따라 웃게 되더라고요. 아이가 그냥 밥만 잘 먹어도 오 대견해. 너 오늘도 진짜 눈 뜨고 진짜 똥 싸고 밥도 이만큼 먹어서 엄청 대견하다라는 그런 응원을 하게 되고 오히려 베이비박스를 하면서 제가 좀 힐링을 받는 좋은 그런 기운을 받는 느낌이 드는 거예요. 그 일회성으로 멈추지 않고 정기적으로 지금 봉사하게 된 이유인 것 같습니다.
The kids here are heartwarmingly endeared by the minister and volunteers, giving not less love than parents. The bright faces and behaviors of the children are the proofs.
베이비박스는 엄마들의 돋비치고 피난처예요. 정말 사랑의 보호처예요. 그리고 이 아이들이 정말 이 사회의 나라에 영향력 있는 사람으로 잘 자라서 눈물을 닦아줄 줄 아는 남의 아픔을 아는 좀 속 깊은 사람들로 성장했으면 좋겠다는 이런 간절한 마음이 있어요.
The uncomfortable truth about the 2,236 so-called ghost children is gradually being revealed. The latest findings are showing that there are more children whose whereabouts are not known than those who have been confirmed to be safe. Hello, this is Il Young from Korea Now. In the wake of the Suwon double infanticide case, an investigation into babies who were born in hospitals but whose birth have not been properly filed, local authorities are finding more and more cases of foul play. A total of 4 cases of infanticide and abandonment of the body have already been confirmed so far, after the government started to screen all undocumented children from June 28 onwards. According to the National Investigation Headquarters of the National Police Agency, 209 suspected cases have been reported by local governments to law enforcement in connection to ghost infants. The police have so far tracked down 20, whereabouts of some 178 children are still under investigation, with 11 having been confirmed dead. Among these children, the Gyeonggi Southern Police Agency, which was in charge of the infanticide case involving the mother of 3, found 3 additional cases of child death and abandonment. These 3 involve a woman in her 20s who allegedly handed over her baby to 3 men and women whom she met on the internet within 8 days of her delivery, and a woman in her 50s who abandoned her baby after he died of Down syndrome in 2015. In addition, police said a woman in her 20s was arrested for leaving her baby unattended for several days after giving birth in Daejeon in 2019. Particularly in the last case, the suspect overturned her statement, making it hard for the police to determine whether the child is dead or not. On September 9 of last year in Goje시, South Gyeongsang Province, a 5-day-old baby died, and it was revealed that a couple in a common-law relationship who initially said they had abandoned the body later confessed to murdering the infant. Originally, the couple claimed they had no choice but to abandon the baby in the hills because they had no money to cremate the remains when the baby died. However, in the course of the probe, the baby's biological father eventually admitted to strangling and killing his son and abandoning his body in a river. They allegedly committed the crime because they were also strapped financially like the suspect in the Suwon infanticide case. According to data from the National Police Agency, the majority of suspects who killed or abandoned infants were in their teens and 20s. From 2013 to 2021, out of 86 people suspected of having committed infanticides, 67 in their teens and 20s, accounting for 77% of the total. Among the 361 suspects who abandoned infants during the same period, 213 were in their teens and 20s, accounting for 59%. The reason for this result is that teenagers and 20-somethings often conceive unexpectedly and are economically and socially unprepared to raise kids. In the wake of the Suwon infanticide case, an amendment to the Family Relations Registration Act was belatedly passed at a plenary session of the Korean National Assembly on the 13th of June that included clauses for a birth notification system and protected birth system. However, even if this bill is fully implemented, there are still blind spots in the system. The birth notification system can increase the number of out-of-hospital births among mothers who do not want their birth reported, and also can lead to abortions. As a complementary measure, the adoption of a protected birth system is being discussed in the National Assembly, but there are concerns that this system may also encourage giving up childcare and deprive children of the right to know their parents. Experts argue that in order to prevent accidents of undocumented infants, it is necessary to fundamentally review and discuss the birth and adoption system, such as support and education for parents who give birth, rather than just rushing to introduce new rules into the system.
돌봄 비용 부분은 우리가 상당 부분 보전해주는
그렇죠.
그런 제도의 확대가 있었어요.
네.
이제 이런 제도가 더 확대가 돼야 되고 아동수당이라든지. 근데 여기에 더해서 부모로서 아이를 잘 키울 수 있도록 뭐 주거 지원 당연히 들어가야 되는 거고, 그 다음에 이제 부모 교육이라든지 이런 어떤 상담이라든지 필요할 때 이런 것들이 함께 진행될 수 있는 정말 물질적 도움과
네.
그다음에 이제 비물질적 도움 이게 함께 갈 수 있는.
In addition, there are calls for the Korean government to consider introducing a birth registration system for foreign children and devise measures to handle unregistered foreign infants living in Korea. It would have been nice if the children had been born to good parents and received loving care, but they came to a person who is struggling with difficulties and suffering from postpartum depression. I am very sorry to the two children who lived but a short life. A mother in her 30s and suspect of the Suwon infanticide wrote in a letter that was made public. Hello, this is Il Young from Korea Now. The Gyeonggi Southern Police Agency charged a mother in her 30s with double murder after initially arresting her last week for infanticide and unlawful concealment of the remains. The case has been sent to the prosecutor's office today. In addition, her husband was also questioned and booked as being a suspect in the double murders, but the police did not transfer the man to the state prosecutors because there was no concrete proof of criminal involvement. What is of importance is why charges leveled at the women have been changed from infanticide to murder. According to Article 251 of Korea's criminal law, infanticide is punishable by imprisonment for up to 10 years. On the other hand, the crime of murder specified in Article 250 stipulates that the punishment can be death, life imprisonment, or imprisonment for at least 5 years. In other words, the statutory punishment of murder is heavier than that of infanticide, which has a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Authorities pointed out that a tougher charge is warranted because she killed her one-day-old babies for 2 consecutive years. Related to the ongoing investigation, local media reported that the woman sent a letter to the press through her lawyer that outlined the hardships she had endured in the past and worried about her 3 remaining children. The suspect also claimed that she intended to turn herself in when her youngest child entered elementary school, but when she actually went to school, she still seemed to need protection. So she decided to turn herself in after she graduated from elementary school. Meanwhile, the suspect also said that she will humbly accept her sins and live out the rest of her life atoning for the children who went before her. The woman also appeared not to release the personal information of her 3 children. The police believe that the suspect committed the crime because of financial difficulties. The suspect couple is said to have failed to pay fees related to their youngest child's education. The police also said she killed the infants because of the high cost of abortion. On the matter of her husband, she allegedly told the police that she hid her pregnancy because she didn't want to burden him. The Women's and Youth Division of the Gyeonggi Southern Police Agency announced on the 29th that it had decided not to disclose the identity of the suspect. The possibility of revealing the identity of the suspect was cautiously raised, but the police decided against it since she did not target a third party and there is a need to protect her family. The death of 2 newborn babies in Suwon shocked Korean society, but at the same time revealed blind spots in the country's welfare system, and calls have been made to re-examine existing social systems that made it possible for such crimes to take place. The double infanticide by a mother of 3 has shocked Korean society and has raised the specter of further discoveries of abandonment and murder of unregistered infants and exposes a glaring hole in the country's child welfare and protection system. The Board of Audit and Inspection said, following a regular check on the Ministry of Health and Welfare, that of the 2.61 million babies born between 2015 to 2022, no birth certificates were filed for 2,236 babies. Based on this finding, it ordered a sample search on 23 unregistered babies and discovered 3 had died and 1 was suspected of having been abandoned. This included the 2 babies killed by their mother, who kept the bodies in a home freezer in Suwon. Reflecting the seriousness of the discovery, the Health and Welfare Ministry announced plans to conduct a full probe to determine the whereabouts and safety of all children who have not been properly registered. In addition, the government and parliament decided to speed up legislation for a so-called birth notification and protection system that will require medical institutions to report births instead of leaving it up to parents.
정부는 앞으로는 다시는 이와 같은 일이 재발되지 않도록 철저한 전수조사와 함께 법적 제도적인 개선 방안을 마련하겠습니다.
Meanwhile, the 30-something woman who confessed to murdering 2 infants reportedly told investigators that she committed the crime due to financial difficulties. She has also decided not to attend the hearing to determine the legality of detention at the Suwon District Court. Besides the woman, the police are investigating the woman's husband, who has claimed that he knows nothing about the murder. With a more thorough screening of undocumented babies to take place, there is a chance of more infant deaths and abandonment cases being unearthed. This will lead to calls for the government to come up with more comprehensive ways to protect infants and young children from neglect and personal harm. The bodies of an infant boy and girl have been found in the refrigerator at an apartment in Suwon. It is revealed that the mother of the babies killed them soon after birth and stored them in the fridge for over 4 years.
갑자기 A를 낳아서 죽였대 이래서 그 소리에 놀라갖고 제가 지금 뛰쳐나옵니다.
The mom in her 30s allegedly strangled 2 babies to death shortly after giving birth, one in November 2018 and the other in November 2019, and then kept their bodies in a home freezer. Police reported that she delivered the babies at hospitals but killed one at her home and the other near the hospital just 1 day after their births. During the interrogation following a raid on her home, she confessed to killing the infants because of economic difficulties associated with already raising 3 children. She claimed that she lied to her husband by telling him she had an abortion. The police have requested an arrest warrant for the woman, who has already admitted she committed the double infanticide. This case was revealed when the Board of Audit and Inspection detected cases where there were discrepancies between actual records of birth but no birth reports filed during an audit of the Ministry of Health and Welfare. As horrible as this case is, this is not the first time that a mother murdered her own kids and left the remains in a refrigerator. In July 2006, Véronique Cauzot, a French woman who lived in Seorae village, Seoul, was caught after murdering her 2 children to whom she gave birth in 2002 and 2003 respectively. She then stored the remains in her freezer. When Véronique returned to her country for summer vacation, her husband found the 2 frozen bodies and reported this discovery to the police. In another well-documented incident that was revealed in June 2017 in Busan, a woman was arrested after being caught storing the bodies of children born in September 2014 and January 2016 in the freezer of her husband's house for more than a year. Experts pointed out that using a home freezer to store bodies may be because other family members rarely check this part of a refrigerator, with the risk of outsiders rummaging through the freezer being even less likely. They said with such crimes against helpless infants occurring despite the social shock condemnation, more systematic measures are needed to deal with infanticide. Particularly, the Audit Board is considering a move to call on the Health and Welfare Ministry and local governments to screen about 2,000 infants whose birth registrations have not been filed from 2015 to 2023. Based on the outcome of this action, Seoul aims to eliminate the blind spots in infant welfare and prevent crimes such as the Suwon infanticide case from happening again. Korea Now will keep our viewers posted on any updates about the ongoing investigation and other measures to be taken by authorities to root out such terrible deeds in the future.